Great. So that means we've implemented, or I've implemented also the fourth requirement. Now, the final thing that we want to do is have collisions between the dog and the cat do something meaningful, particularly decrement the lives of my cat. So right now, if I run my game, I think my cat should be able to collect oranges. So if I move my cat over here, oops, nope, that didn't work. So let's see why it didn't work, and let's make it work. So collisions between the orange and the cat are handled in pickup. So pickup creates the behavior that we want objects that the cat comes in contact with to have. So I'm going to open the pickup class, and I'm going to look at the implementation. All right, so pickups are generally attached to oranges. If you want to see that that is the case, we're going to go into the game world, and we're going to look at when we build oranges. So here's where we build 11 oranges, the ones that show up right here, these 11 oranges. And every time we build a new orange object, and we set its position, we were also doing this. We were attaching to our orange a collision listener of type pickup. So what this means is that whenever something was colliding with one of these 11 oranges that we've built, this object, pickup here, was being notified. And when this pickup object was being notified, essentially, this method was being called. When this method was being called, this collision event object here is being sent into it. And this collision event has two variables that we can access. One is eGetOtherBody, and the other one is eGetReportingBody. So these are basically the two objects that collide. The reporting body in our case is the orange, because we have added the collision listener to the orange. The other body is whatever the orange collided with, probably the cat or the bird in the previous implementation. So I'm going to go back into pickup, and I'm going to say, well, if the other body was before the bird, but now I want it to be the cat, so I'm going to change this to cat. Then I want to increment the orange count of my cat, and I want the orange, so the reporting body, the orange, to be destroyed. That means to remove it from the game because we've just collected it. Obviously, our pickup class doesn't yet know about the cat variable because it was using bird before. So I'm going to go and change the yellow bird to my cat. And here, good. So now my pickup objects are centered around cats. So we have a cat field here, which we set to our cat character from the game. And then when a collision happens between the orange and another body, we test if that other body is our cat, and then we increment the orange count in the cat. And there's one more change that we need to do. We need to go into the game world where we create oranges and uncomment this line and put a cat here. And now this should work just fine. It should compile. And that's true. Great, so now we're creating 11 oranges. and each orange will have a pickup object attached as a listener. So whenever an orange collides with something else, the collide method of the pickup that it has attached to it will be called, and this code will execute. So hopefully now if we run it, our cat will be able to collect So our cat just collected this orange. So this works now. Great. So the other thing, or the next thing to do, is to have our cat's lives be decremented if it touches the dog. So how do we do that? Well, right now we're only testing collisions between the orange and the cat. So we want to be able to also test collisions between the dog and the cat. If we go into the game world, we have seen how we had to add this collision listener to our orange to make this happen. So we're going to do the same for the dog. We're going to add a collision listener to the dog. Good. So the first thing to do is let's just test that this works, that we are able to test that there are collisions between the dog and the cat. So I'm going to go into pickup here, and I'm going to just add the system out print line call saying collision with double exclamation mark. And now if I run my code, I'm hoping that if I make my cat collide with a dog, it will say collision. Indeed, you will notice that I had a lot of collision messages printed here. So let's look at that again. So I'm going to rerun my code. Just look at the console very intently. So I'm going to rerun the code, and suddenly I have all these collision messages here. Why did this happen? Well, it's because all these 11 oranges fell onto grounds, onto platforms, and each collision was detected between the orange and these platforms. Yeah, so I basically had 11 messages for all the collisions between the orange and the platforms. Why? Well, that's because this collide method was called every time there was a collision between an orange and a platform, and there was no discrimination whether the collision was between an orange and a platform, or an orange and a dog, or an orange and a cat. Yes? So this message was called indiscriminately. Moreover, if I move my cat onto the dog, then the cat just ate the dog, and we got this message here called saying tasty, orange count equals 1. So basically when the cat collided with the dog, the behavior of the collision between an orange and a cat got activated. Well, this is because this collision here, which we attach now to the dog too, if it goes into here, then we're testing that the other body was a cat, so the reporting body in this case is a dog, but the other body is still the cat. So this code does get called, regardless whether the reporting body is an orange or a dog. The way to basically distinguish whether the reporting body is a dog or an orange, which is what we want to discriminate here, works in Java like this. So if E get reporting body instance of orange, and the other body is a cat, then we do this. Else the reporting body is a dog and the other body is a cat, then we decrement the lives of the cat. And we destroy the reporting body, which in this case is a dog. All right, there's an error here. Let's see why. Not a statement. Oh, this should be an else if. Good. And I have an extra curly. So this might work. Let's test it. I'm gonna clean and build and then run. So if I move my cat left, I can collect an orange. If I move my cat, left, now, oops, lost lives and lives equals 8. Yes, so this seems to work just fine. Again, review what happened here. We can add this pickup collision listener, so the code that deals with collisions. We can add it either to oranges or we can add it to the dog. And within the code that activates when either a dog or an orange collides with a cat, we test each of the objects involved in that collision. First of all, the other body needs to be a cat in both cases, and the reporting body needs to be either an orange or a dog, and we do different things whether the reporting body is an orange or is a dog. And that means we've implemented the last part of the deliverable, and this should score quite high. So this is the end of this demo, and I really hope it helps.